There we go. Lovely. So I just want to thank everybody for coming and know that you were chosen to be part of this group. So you're in the Inner Circle Masterclass. This is the agenda, and there's four parts to what we're going to be exploring today. And we'll go through these slide by slide. But the first is just being thankful, being in a state of gratitude. And then how do we let go and release? And how do we open ourselves to beautiful possibilities? And when we do, how do we radiate light and joy into those possibilities? So when we think about manifestation, if you were to Google it or look it up, there's all these steps that you can find easily on the internet. It's like getting clear about what you want, writing out what you want, getting quiet and still, meditating. There's all these different steps to manifestation. And the retreat this year is called Manifest Your Mojo. It has lots of different aspects to it, but what I thought would be really special to do today for a few minutes is to start creating a space inside of ourselves so that we can really manifest what we want. We know there's other skill sets to manifestation, but often the inner work to create a space to do that is not something that most people think about. So that's the purpose of today. We're in almost to November, and there's a different shifting of the seasons. As you well know, what happens at this time of year, fall comes, there's just a whole different vibration that starts happening at this time. And it's really, we start thinking about the end of the year, even though we're not there. We've got a lot of things to get there, but we start to move into a different phase in terms of our yearly manifestations. As we start to move towards the end of the year, most people want to start the year with a certain idea about what they'd like to manifest for that year. And I'm not talking just about, New Year's resolutions. I'm talking about things that change in ourselves and in the world to make it a better place. And so as we start to let go of 2024 and we move into 2025, part of what we're going to be doing together is to be really seriously manifesting a 2025 year that we really love. And so this little exercise that we're going to go through, I shouldn't say little, I mean, it's pretty profound actually, but this exercise that we're going to go through helps to prepare us for that. Each one of these quadrants is something that we're going to touch base on. They're divided up below this. But the idea is to feather your nest and prepare for manifestation. So when you think of feathering your nest, it's like, what do the birds do? They bring in the feathers and the twigs and they create like the space. They create a really warm, kind of loving place in order to birth what, they're young. And so what we could think about during this time is, what do we want to put in our nest? How can we create a space, a really loving, warm place for us to burst through with this next level of manifestation that we really want in our lives? So the first one, and I know we all know this and we often practice this, but it would be really great if the next 8 weeks until the end of this year, that whatever gratitudes you would care to really identify and live with and write about and think about, this is a way to feather our nest, is to be in deep gratitude. In a way, what we're doing is we're going back. We're not starting with this day forward, but we're going back and saying, what's happened this year that I've been just super grateful for? and to just journal about that. My thought was, we don't have the time on this call to take a lot of time to do that journaling, but what could happen, we can send you these slides if you'd like, but start journaling everything that you're grateful for. And I love doing it with breathing, and I love doing it with lighting a candle, whatever works for you. This is a biggie in feathering your nest, ladies, but it's really taking time to release what no longer serves you. And this can get kind of scary sometimes because we're like, oh, shoot, that friendship that I thought was so great, and you start seeing, that it really isn't that great for you anymore. we all know that we put energy into friendships and that, and maybe they're based on things that just don't resonate with you anymore. But it's time to really look at the people in your lives and to really feather that nest with the people that really deeply nourish you and that you can really nourish yourself. And when it comes to time, this is also a biggie because we all spend time doing things that maybe don't really serve us either, and this is not to be judgmental about yourself and say, oh, I play Candy Crush or something. That's not really what we're talking about here. I mean, is certainly people do certain things like that, but to really start to look at your time and what are you spending time on that you could start to gently let go of? Okay, you're feathering your nest with spending time on the people and the things that really bring you joy. And then we go into these other two little shady areas where there's circumstances and commitments. There may be circumstances that you felt comfortable in for years, and you just start to feel like it's just not the right place for you anymore. Maybe you joined a book club, or maybe you belong to the VA, or you've done something, and it's just like, you know what? I've loved these people, I've loved my experience, but I'm moving into something different. And if you don't have any of those, that's fine too. I'm not saying get rid of things that serve you, but ask yourself the question, does this bring you joy? Is this something that really is helpful for you? And then the other thing is about our commitments. And this is really interesting for women too, because I think when it comes to commitments, we often say yes when we maybe should say no. And so we're saying yes to all kinds of things. And it might be time to just take a step back and say, what is the yes that is really a yes for you? When you say yes, you're like, I'm all in. I love that I'm doing this. I love being on this board, or I love serving in this way. I love volunteering in this way. It is truly me. But if those commitments are starting to fade for you, or you're just not feeling the juice, time is short. So this is something that you could be looking at too to help feather your nest. And I love that picture because it's on the ocean and it really is just saying, let go because I need to make room for something else. Love this picture I found. Um, you might have seen it on Facebook, but I just see myself. It's almost like an eye. And I'm just looking through that lens. And again, the ocean metaphor. But it's also time as we let go of these things that no longer serve us, what is it that we're bringing in? So I think it's like, look at what's blossoming inside you now. What's percolating? What are you drawn to? What are you thinking about? What are you finding yourself wanting more of? And I love this quote. I think it came from Wayne Dyer, but of course I mix them up a little bit and I kind of change them. So I feel like it's okay to use it without saying who it is because I know it's not the exact quote. However, it says, don't die with your music still inside of you. So it's like, what's your song? What is the song that you want to be singing? And I do say music is such a potent part of our lives. I mean, if you have some favorite songs, turn them on and listen to them and just maybe just get still and really listen to the words of a song that you've really loved and see what it's trying to say to you. Each of us have a song we need to sing and we don't want it to die inside of us. And so this is how you can help open yourself to these possibilities. And the last one is just what have you been dreaming about? So, I love to dream big and the BHAG, the big hairy ass goals, but I don't really like it to be the goal. I like it to be the big hairy ass dream. What have you been dreaming of that you haven't stepped into that dream yet? You're at the edge of the ocean, maybe your toes are a little bit wet, but you haven't like really plunged in and really manifested that dream. So you could be thinking about that as well. Okay. So once you've gone through this step, as you can see, they all kind of work together. You've let go, you've given thanks, you've let go, and then you've identified what you want. And now it's time to start radiating, just this beautiful light and joy that you have inside of yourself towards those dreams that you want to manifest. So even taking it right now, because we'll be more informed when we're together at another time. So this isn't the formation of those, but just relaxing a little bit within yourself and saying, all is beautiful, all is well. I bring my light to whatever situation there is, and so it is. So in this little circle that we showed and is on the slide, you've actually come full circle with everything. And then where we end up is here in the center.